Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. College football action on Saturday. Michigan versus Michigan State. Doesn't get any bigger in the Big Ten. He's Bryan Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Brian, we got to just set the stage for what we've seen happen here with this Michigan football team. Obviously, we knew that the Michigan football team was going to be better than it was last year. Just Jim Harbaugh coming to Michigan made them better. But nobody thought this much. And just going to give you a brief little history on how this game has transpired from the start of the season, actually even before the start of the season. You partake every year, go down to the Golden Nugget for their games of the year. They bring them out late June. Sports Cheetah was in town too. We did a bunch of videos about the games. This game, back in late June, Michigan State was installed as a 4.5-point favorite on the games of the year. Now, things happen as the season progresses, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to just 2 weeks ago. The last two games, we haven't seen the results yet. Michigan State was still a 5.5-point favorite. Before last week's game, it moved 5.5 points to a pick. And then you had the results of Michigan State having another close win and Michigan State having their third straight shutout. This game is now up to, we're looking at a number of 8. It's insane.
It's crazy because down at the Gold Nugget, two of the guys that I respect a lot bet it at 4.5, bet it at 5, brought it up to 5.5. There was no buyback on Michigan there. At the end of the season, we knew Michigan was going to be a lot better than they were early. But it's interesting because, and I love this game this week. This is what makes people excited. I don't get excited, but I get excited because this is a handicapping game. Do you look at this game and say, I see that Michigan is clearly the better team with your eyes? Mm-hmm. Problem is, Michigan last week against Northwestern runs the opening kickoff back, 3 and out, scores another touchdown. They're up 14-0. Northwestern does not have the offense to come back.
I wasn't even back my popcorn yet.
And it was 14-0. So it played out perfectly for Michigan. And, Mark Lawrence, one of our colleagues, put this out. He said, Michigan State is the only team in his database that started a year 6-0 straight up, but 0-6 against the spread.
Which people, in the public's eye, now let's talk about that for a second. And this is very reminiscent of last year with Florida State.
Yes.
Florida State
Ohio State, same way this year.
And Ohio State this way. They kept winning, but they weren't covering. But they don't have to win today, Michigan State. They can still cover this game. They've had 6 close wins. And so does that mean they're underachieving? Because I love reading that in, if you read other people's newsletters or, blogs and stuff. Well, Michigan State's they're an underachiever. They're 0-6 against the spread. Well, yeah, they are underachieving against the Las Vegas line. But if they're playing for a national championship and the goal is to win all of your games, get into the playoffs, and then, get hot in the 2 games of the playoffs and win the national championship, isn't that what they're doing?
It's interesting because I've been asked to compete, provide my top 25 this year from a gambler's perspective. I don't pay much attention to the actual coaches poll. I think Ohio State's number 1. I think Michigan State's still in the top 5. I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. I have Ohio State, I think, 14th, and I have Michigan State in the 20s. They've both been very disappointing. But what is really cool about this is if you look at the stats, you look at the history, Michigan State is 6-1 straight up in this series, 7-0 against the spread. They've won out of their last 20 Big Ten games, 19-1 straight up, 11-0 straight up on the Big Ten road, 10-0 against the spread as a single-digit underdog. All of that on one side against what we have seen so far, especially lately out of that Michigan. I knew Michigan would take money here. Obviously, you talked about how it was the 5.5 and then the pick 'em and now up to 8. I think it's been a little bit of an overreaction here. Michigan is the better team. I have them higher in my rankings. But when you face a team that has your number, and I know this is a huge game for Michigan. They've been wanting this game. Mm-hmm. But Michigan State knows how to beat Michigan. And you're getting a team now who is on the same much of an equal course here, and they know they're over an 8-point underdog in a team that they've dominated. You know D'Antoni's going to make that mention. I like Michigan State in this game. I think the line has gone too far. The way it continues to go up, I'm hoping it hits 10. It could be a huge play for me if it gets to 10.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and make it unanimous. I'm going to agree. I think the line's too much. I think it's going to come down to, a 21-20 type game, 23-20, go either way. But there's just too many points here for me not to take in this series. I got to take Michigan State with you. Take the value. We're looking at too much value to pass up. I'll take Michigan State plus the points here. And don't forget, guys, you can get $10 off any play this weekend. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Enter coupon code MATT in the number 10. That's MATT with 2 T's. And the number 10, you'll get $10 off any single package this weekend over at WagerTalk. He's Bryan Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Be sure to check out all of our other videos for this weekend's games over at WagerTalk.com.